So let's go ahead and take a quick look at what are the big movies I'm looking forward to in 2023. First movie on my list is going to be Fast X. Really looking forward to seeing what Vin Diesel and the crew are going to get into next. I haven't been keeping up on this one too much. I'm really hoping Jason Statham's in it because I do like him in it. Overall, these movies are just big, fun, and dumb, and I am ready for that. Might be kind of low on the list for some people. Number 9 for me is Oppenheimer. I really like Christopher Nolan movies. I know that's a really bold statement and one that a lot of people are just too afraid to make. And so, this one I'm really kind of being brave and putting it on this list. And I think that the actors in it, not very well liked, half of Hollywood that's in this movie. And so again, probably the most underdog pick that you'll see on my list, Oppenheimer. Looking forward to it. Excited to head back to Arrakis for part 2 of the Dune series for my number 8 pick. I really, really like the first Dune. Again, I know, very rare to hear that from somebody. But I'm just looking forward to seeing the rest of that story play out. It's been a long time since I watched the one from the 80s, and I never read the books, so I'm a little fuzzy on what happens. I'm deliberately trying not to remember so I can be surprised a little bit in the new movie. So yeah, looking forward to seeing how this all kind of turns out. Number 7 is going to be the Barbie movie for me. And no, this one is not a joke or anything. I really like Greta Gerwig's stuff that I've seen. And I'm excited to see what she's going to do with this, especially after seeing that first trailer. If that is the tone and everything that they're going for with this movie, I think it's going to be a blast. And I love Margot Robbie and I love Ryan Gosling. And so, yeah, I don't see a reason why not to be excited to see this one. It's going to be quite the double feature when you go to see this one and Oppenheimer on the same weekend. Scream 6 is going to be my number 6, and I just love this series. I think that it's probably my favorite horror franchise. I think, yeah, definitely. It is. I just like how silly it is with the killer, like getting knocked around as much as they do. I think that they do a good job at actually being genuinely pretty unnerving and scary at different parts, especially in like that first movie. The first Scream is just so good. I really did enjoy the one that came out early last year. And so, the fact that they're kind of pumping this out is in tradition, right? The first and second Scream were only like a year apart as well. And so really kind of looking forward to seeing what they're going to do. I do think that this one's kind of going to really cement what's going to happen, with the future of the franchise, with a lot of those legacy characters either being killed off in the last one or just not agreeing to come back for this one. And so, I'd be excited to see what they pull off. And the new environment being set in New York City also is at least different. Number 5 is Creed 3. This one's being directed by Michael B. Jordan, and I just love the Rocky franchise. And so then I was a little skeptical, at first when I heard about Creed, but once I got into it, I found out that series is just as good. Great continuation of the story. I'm really looking forward to seeing how Michael B. Jordan's going to do in the director's seat. I'm looking forward to it based off of the trailers too. Jonathan Majors is they're going to be having a big year of being the bad guy, and he just looks huge and scary in this movie, which I think is the point. And so I just, again, looking forward to this one, and March is going to be actually a pretty good month for movies, I think. Now, Creed 3 and the Super Mario Bros. Movie were both on my most anticipated movie list last year, and so, I don't know, I'm trying to not get too excited for anything, but as much as I am trying to help it, I am really looking forward to Super Mario Bros. I love kids' animated movies. I have kids, so that probably is part of it, but even before they showed up, I just kind of like how colorful and lighthearted all these things are. I like the Illumination movies. They get a bad rap online because of the Minions, maybe, rightfully so. But the Minions have been twisted into, again, we talked about it a lot, this weird amalgamation of like boomer humor. And so I don't completely blame them. It is, of course, partially their fault. But all of that being said, I think that the Super Mario Bros. Movie is in good hands when it comes to them animation-wise. They do put out some pretty good stuff. The Sing movies are really good. And again, I like the Despicable Me stuff. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think the voice cast is fine. I think that there's way too much of a hullabaloo about Chris Pratt being cast in the role. I think it kind of comes down to the same thing that was the problem with Black Adam for me, where it's just like the actor overhyping things, like Chris Pratt saying like,
It's a me, a Mario. That's not the voice. You'll have to wait to hear the voice, but we've been working hard at it. And
if he would have just not said anything, I think the reaction would have been a lot better. Jack Black seems great. Anya Taylor-Joy seems great. Keegan-Michael Key seems great. Charlie Day is always good. So there's one for sure for me there. Can't wait to see it. Definitely looking forward to April 7th. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, starring Tom Cruise and the whole Mission Impossible gang. I tell you what, I love these movies. They are just such a good time and just lots of action, silly stories though. Like, I mean, the plot in these, they really don't matter that much. They're always the same. It's always about like fighting the terrorist that's going to release some spy list or release some like thermonuclear weapon or some kind of disease into the air, and we have to stop them or the whole world's going to be, and then, Tom Cruise jumps off a building. And that's the good parts of it. I think that they've done a good job of really kind of building this series up into what it is now. And I think coming off of Top Gun especially, they've got to have, I think, a great opening weekend. I really do think this movie is going to do really well at the box office. But besides that, and just the stunts and the interactions with the characters, they're what I'm there for. And I don't see any reason why I should think that they're not going to be as good as they've always been. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is my number 2 pick for most anticipated movie of the year. I love James Gunn. Like with modern James Gunn, I don't know if he's missed for me. Right? I loved Peacemaker. The show was great. I loved The Suicide Squad. I like all the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Burn Bright, he didn't direct, so I can just kind of not worry about that one. Or Brightburn. And so, I love these characters. I'm excited to see them get to interact again in this new post-Avengers world. Really like hoping for a good Marvel year after last year's not great Marvel year in theaters, at least. I did like a lot of the streaming stuff, almost everything that came out streaming from Marvel. But I really am hoping that this movie will kind of just get people excited for the MCU again. Because, I mean, like I am. I love the fact that it's being really teased out as the end of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Like James Gunn is going off to do DC stuff. Batista has said for sure that this is his last one too. And, so I like a concluded story. And so that will be nice. I'm expecting to cry at this one. So we'll just have to see. And then my number 1 most anticipated movie of the year, could it be anything else? Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse. This was on my most anticipated list last year too. So yeah, I mean, I've been waiting a while for it. I think that Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is one of the best animated movies. I think it's probably the best Spider-Man movie. It's got great voice acting in it. The animation is spectacular. And I'm stoked to see all the different art styles that they're promising off of this one. I just kind of take all of that to the next level. Really, it's some big shoes to fill because, again, that first one is just so good. But I think that, based off that first trailer, I think that they'll be able to deliver at least kind of on par with that. And so looking forward to seeing that one. Glad we don't have to wait until Christmas time, just to wait until June for that one. So I think it's definitely a sure thing that we'll get to watch it this year. So that is my top 10 most anticipated movies of the year. What are yours? I'd love to hear them in the comments below. Like, I really would actually love to hear them in the comments below. I think it's fun to kind of hear about new movies. Maybe you got something I haven't really thought about yet, and I'd love to be excited for it. Here's to a great year at the movies.